Welcome to Tackling Toileting, a three-part video series developed by Kids Inclusive staff to support families and their children with toilet training. My name is Shauna Kennelly, and I am a family resource consultant and a Social ABC's parent coach here at Kids Inclusive. Let's start tackling some toileting. At Kids Inclusive, we do want to acknowledge that the use of language is evolving rapidly and will continue to be an ongoing discussion with the neurodiverse community. During this presentation, we will be using both identity first as well as person first language. This is the final video in our Tackling Toileting workshop. In this video, we will touch on setting up an action plan to start toilet training. At the end of this video, we hope to set you on a routine to lead you to the ultimate goal of having your child consistently and independently communicate their need to void and successfully void on the toilet. So I'm going to make the assumption here that your child is able to sit on the toilet for at least 30 to 45 seconds. If this is not the case, you'll want to think about achieving this prior to starting a full-on routine. In order to increase seat tolerance, you may need to start with 5 seconds with reinforcement. And once this happens for a few times without behavior, increase to 10 seconds and reinforce, and 20 seconds and reinforce, making your way up to about 45 seconds to 1 to 2 minutes. All right, now what you've all been waiting for. So you've already determined your child's reinforcer, or maybe the reinforcers in a chest or a bin. They're easily accessible for you and not for the child. You've gotten maybe a few books ready in the bathroom and you've warmed up your vocal cords. You're armed with any visuals that you may need. You've stashed those spare clothes and underwear and you're ready to take on the toileting. So the night before, if you decided to use a social story, you're going to use that and read it to your child before they go to bed. Then upon wakening, take your child to the bathroom to remove their diaper or pull-up, sit on the toilet, and put on their underwear. This part I'm going to repeat. We do want them in underwear. Keep that social story close and read it prior to getting into those day's activities. The first few days, you'll want to keep your child's bladder full by giving them as much fluid as you can throughout the day. The technical term for this is called flooding. So if they like apple juice and they don't get it very often, then they've hit the jackpot with toileting because you are going to pump them full of it. From your tracking sheet from earlier, look back and determine how long your child can go between voiding. If they can go every hour without a void, then we'll start at 45 minutes. At 45 minutes, then we'll want to take them to the bathroom, sit on the toilet, and attempt to void. We don't want to take them too frequently. That would be less than 45 minutes, as they never get a full bladder sensation, and we really want them to experience this. This might sound extreme to you, and maybe it is. Toileting is kind of all or nothing sort of thing, which means why we mentioned in the earlier video about everyone being on board in your child's life. It won't always feel this extreme, so just bear with us. When sitting on the toilet, if they do not void and just sit, offer a lot of social praise to your child. If they pee, give them that special reinforcer and social praise. If they poo, wow, you need to have a party. Give them reinforcement and lots of social praise. This is such a big deal. But what if they have an accident? That's okay. Just remain calm and stay positive. It's a learning process, and learning through mistakes can be a really important tool for our kids. Keep conversation to a minimum and do not give the child a lot of attention when cleaning up the mess, as we don't want to socially reinforce that accident. Have the child sit on the toilet and explain to the child in a calm and neutral tone that we pee and poo on the toilet. A complete toileting routine can include many, many steps, and each one can be difficult for our children to learn. So let's just keep it simple and focus on voiding on the toilet first. Too much at once can be overwhelming. If they can't wash their hands on their own, help them. If we really want them to go to the washroom, then help them do the other steps so that they focus on going right to the washroom. You can also have task strips, which are examples that are shown on the screen here, as a visual reminder of what to do next. It's super common for families who have children who successfully void on the toilet, but they might not have a bowel movement on the toilet. In these cases, what we recommend is removing the diapers completely, except for those night diapers, unless you want to tackle that too. You might need to up that reinforcer. You need to think of that really big reinforcer. It might just be that those 3 Skittles won't cut it. It's not reinforcing enough. We're not telling you need to break the bank, but you might just need to take into consideration how frequently the reinforcer is needed, hopefully only once a day or once, every other day when they poop. And so maybe you can invest a little more into it. Sometimes kids like surprises as well. Opening that Kinder Egg and having a surprise in there is a really good excitement. Just go back to the basis and track those bowel movements when they're happening. There might be a pattern, a poop time or a poop window that you've missed. In this case, you might want to just think about practicing sitting in the bathroom during that poop window of time. Maybe you have to have a basket of books or fidget toys for them to use while they sit. Having that warm magic bag or a warm cloth on their tummy might also help. While sitting on the toilet, you can get your child to practice engaging in those stomach muscles. You might need to model how to push. We've had parents in the past use a push card where the child needs to practice pushing or engaging their stomach muscles so many times while they're sitting on the toilet. It's a great example of a simple visual that can help utilize and distract the child from the task at hand. And you might think that I'm left field with this one, but you might need to model pooping for your child. And when you head into the bathroom, get them to accompany you and model having that bowel movement on the toilet. Pay attention to those poop signals. For example, if your child's hiding behind the couch or in a corner, going under the table. When accidents happen, they are a little bit stressful. When you're walking to the bathroom, start using the words or pictures such as we're walking to the bathroom or we're going pee, whatever language that you've chosen, so the child starts to understand and pair that use of words with the routine and the act of going to the washroom. The goal is to increase the successful voids on the toilet and decrease the number of accidents. You might even be using a first then visual or just using that first then language. First toilet, then Smarty, or whatever that reinforcing item is. You can start to increase the length of time between trips to the bathroom as your child can tolerate it and not experience accidents. If your child's withholding, always consult a medical physician before trying any behavior strategies. You know your child best. You know the time increments of what they can be increased by in the bathroom. If they're having problematic or challenging behavior, take a step back and repair that bathroom with those good things. It's totally okay if you need to start over. Some parents find it helpful to track things to see if they're actually progressing. Um, because sometimes all you feel like is you're just cleaning up pee all the time, and that's okay. So sometimes tracking it just makes you see it. Okay, and so when it's going well, it can be your family preference as to when you stop increasing the time interval. I would recommend anywhere between 2 or 3 hours, or it seems the most natural. You're going to continue to offer reinforcement each time your child successfully uses the toilet. Once accidents become a thing of the past, you can start considering fading that reinforcement. If accidents come back rearing its ugly head again, then you know that you're fading that reinforcement a little too fast and you may need to slow it down a little. With the pairing of the communication, the ultimate goal is to have your child will start to recognize when they need to use the toilet and either go independently or use the toilet to void on the toilet successfully. Token boards can be a great tool when you don't think your child can tolerate that reinforcement being moved too quickly. So perhaps the reinforcement is one of their, favorite toys, and you're worried that removing it from them is going to cause some problematic behavior. And so the idea behind token boards is that it kind of delays that bigger reinforcer. So every time they pee or they void on the toilet, they get a token. And then they can exchange those tokens for that small toy. Planning, reinforcement, and consistency all play key roles in how quickly your child may become toilet trained. Persistence will always pay off, and there's going to be hiccups along the way. If this happens, stick to the plan. Try to keep that positive attitude when failure happens, as it is a normal step in the process. And remember, mistakes are what makes children learn. This is the end of our three-part series of Tackling Toileting Workshop. Thank you for watching, and if you're looking for any resources, head over to Kids Inclusive for more.